Today, we're talking about a miracle material, one that helped build our modern world, but it's also responsible for one of the worst public health disasters in history. And the crazy part is, we just can't seem to escape it. So, let me ask you this. What if you had a huge, catastrophic problem? I'm talking entire cities burning to the ground, and you found a magical solution, a perfect fix. But what if that fix, that perfect solution, turned out to be even deadlier than the problem it was supposed to solve? Well, that's the story we're getting into today. And it all starts with a simple, kind of mind-blowing fact. There is a rock that you can pull apart into soft, fluffy fibers. You can weave it like cotton, but if you hold a flame to it, nothing. Absolutely nothing happens, because it's a rock that doesn't burn. So how is that even possible? How can a rock be fibrous and totally fireproof at the same time? Let's dive into the pretty incredible science behind this stuff. This material, of course, is asbestos. It's a mineral that occurs naturally, and its properties, they almost seem to defy logic. It's super strong, it's an amazing insulator, and yeah, you can literally spin it into thread. And it all comes down to its unique atomic structure. Okay, so if you zoom way in, it's all about chemistry. You've got these super stable pyramid-shaped building blocks. They link up to form sheets. But here's the trick. The sheets don't line up perfectly. There's a tiny atomic mismatch, and that creates tension, which forces the layers to curl up into these incredibly strong, flexible, and heat-resistant little tubes. And that is how you get a rock that you can weave into cloth. So when you have a material this amazing, you know humans are going to find a use for it. And back in the 19th century, asbestos wasn't just useful, people saw it as a literal savior. And you gotta remember, cities back then were total fire traps. I mean, everything was made of wood, all the buildings were jammed together, and everyone was using open flames for light and heat. One little accident could, and often did, burn down an entire city. Asbestos was the answer. You could make fireproof roofing, fireproof walls. You could finally break that chain reaction of a fire spreading from house to house. It made cities so much safer. And so it just exploded. In 1900, the US was using about 20,000 tons a year. Fast forward to 1973, and America was using over 800,000 tons every single year. It was everywhere. And I mean, literally everywhere. It was in the brake pads in your car, the insulation in your walls, the toaster in your kitchen. They even put it in toothpaste as a polishing agent. They used it to filter beer. And get this, all that fake snow in the Wizard of Oz, yep, that's pure asbestos. It was a true miracle material, woven into the fabric of daily life. But every miracle has a price. And the price for this one was silent, it was hidden, and it was absolutely devastating. Because those same fibers that made it so useful, they were also like microscopic daggers, just waiting to be breathed in. And if you want to understand the sheer tragic irony of it all, look no further than this. In the 1950s, Kent cigarettes advertised their brand as being safer, all thanks to their new micronite filter. What was that revolutionary filter made of? Crocetalite asbestos, one of the most dangerous forms there is. They were literally selling a cancer-causing filter to protect you. The thing is, the alarm bells had been ringing for decades. All the way back in 1924, a factory worker named Nellie Kershaw died. She was only 33. When the pathologist examined her lungs, they were so full of asbestos fibers that his scalpel rasped, as if he were cutting through sandpaper. He gave the disease a name, asbestosis. So how does this actually happen inside your body? Well, when you breathe in these tiny, sharp fibers, they get stuck deep inside your lungs. Your immune cells, your body's defenders, they rush in to try and destroy the invaders. But they can't. The fibers are basically rock. So in their frustration, the immune cells release all these chemicals that end up just burning and scarring the healthy lung tissue around them. And over time, that damage leads to fatal diseases like asbestosis and a brutal cancer called mesothelioma. Now, this wasn't just some tragic, unforeseen accident of science. This tragedy was made so much worse by a deliberate, decades-long cover-up. The people selling this miracle material, they knew it was killing their workers, and they chose to say nothing. The whole thing really blew up in the 1960s, thanks to a researcher named Dr. Irving Selikoff. He did the hard work and proved, definitively, the link between asbestos and these insane cancer rates among workers. He made the crisis impossible to ignore. But as his work came out, so did the proof. the proof that the industry had known for a very, very long time. This is from a letter found in some old company files dated 1935. It's from a lawyer for Johns Manville, the biggest asbestos company on the planet. And he's writing that their interests are best served by having asbestosis receive the minimum of publicity. This wasn't ignorance, it was a strategy. But somehow it gets even colder. This is from sworn testimony where a witness described confronting the president of Johns Manville way back in the 40s. He asked him, "Do you mean to tell me you would let them work until they dropped dead?" And the president of the company reportedly replied, "Yes, we save a lot of money that way." Now, you'd think after a cover-up that monstrous was exposed, the problem would just go away. But it didn't. The legacy of those decisions and of the material itself, it lingers all around us, and it's creating a whole new set of problems today. Take this number, 1%. The asbestos industry lobbied for a rule that lets any product with less than 1% asbestos be sold and marketed as asbestos-free. 1% sounds like nothing, right? But it has massive consequences. It makes detection incredibly hard, and it complicated everything, even the analysis of all that toxic dust after the 9/11 attacks. And speaking of 9/11, that dust was full of asbestos, pulverized from the construction of the World Trade Center towers. As of late 2023, nearly 7,000 people registered with the World Trade Center Health Program have died from illnesses linked to being at Ground Zero. That's more than double the number of people who were killed on the day of the attacks. A lot of people think asbestos is a problem of the past. It's not. The U.S. finally banned one type of asbestos in 2024, but that doesn't cover all the forms, and it does nothing about the millions of tons already sitting in our buildings. And if you look globally, it is still a massive industry. Countries like India are importing hundreds of thousands of tons of this stuff. So where is the danger hiding today? Well, it's pretty much everywhere. It's in the insulation and floor tiles of millions of older homes, schools, and offices. It's been found contaminating brand new products like makeup and even kids' toys. And in some parts of the country, it's just naturally in the soil, getting kicked up into the air we breathe. And that really brings us back to the big, unsettling question, doesn't it? This miracle material, this dust, is all around us, often invisible, often unregulated. It helped build our world, for sure, but now that we know the true cost, how can any of us really be sure that we're safe from it?